It seems to me that in Vedic cosmology, the main objective was to explain, not to describe. They didn't care about who came first, who was more powerful, you know. They didn't keep score, right? Um, they were more interested in, for instance, when talking about the Trinity or the logos, they they were more interested in the facts and how everything works together. They weren't keeping score. Yeah, it wasn't the goal keeping score or who's the boss, who's the first. Yeah, who's more powerful, who's more influential. No, they weren't thinking who came first, who was. That's why they avoided creationism. uh, that's why they avoided duality, because those don't make any sense. So someone that came closer to the Vedic was the Greeks in their cosmology. But they went a little bit further because they were very artistic. They start anthropomorphizing the logos. They started giving them a personalization statues. They started building statues of Hermes and Zeus. These are expressions of the logos. Yeah. But then came other cultures, yeah, that took it to the extreme. They from the intellect, from the intellect, they transported everything into the material world and gave it rigid, extremely rigid, functions. And this came first, and the other one is more powerful, and this is the weak one, and the other has to obey the other. It became like in an assembly line, in a factory, this mechanical thinking. This came first, that commands the other, and this has more power, and you have to obey, follow, and blah 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 blah. That's the Abrahamics. They just simply distorted, the metaphysics of the soul. They completely destroyed it. In fact, I think they don't mention in their holy books, they don't mention the immortality of the soul. I don't think they talk about it. Mm. They kind of they kind of gave the soul. They kind of turned it into this personalized thing, which is they are mixing the ego with the soul. They are mixing, so they give it a personal thing, and they gave it, the curse of hell or heaven, basically. Again, taking things to the extreme. So if you behave yourself, you'll go to heaven. If you're a bad person, you go to hell. But that's not the soul. That's morality. That's the tyranny of morality. Anyway, um, right.